Lüneburg and thank you very much for coming, and I must say also I thank you very much Mrs. Marina Christoph, who is director of Austrian Cultural Forum, because she was supporting us already for Growing Globe last time, very generously, and one of institutes that still support this kind of manifestations, which I cannot say for the others. And also she wants to come today. She was also in Growing Globe very present and giving a very nice speech, and I'm sure she will be fantastic, prepared much better than me. She will talk about content and something. So many greetings from her, and we will send her greetings through our documentation, and thank her very much. So please, it's your stage.
Thank you, Ingeborg. Usually, I can be on stage just as a performer. I'm an internationally performing violinist. I'm classically trained. When I went to my studies, I played Bach sonatas and partitas, Mozart concertos, Paganini caprices, and things like that. So really, this typical classically trained violinist. And then later I ventured into contemporary music, and then I had my own ensemble, and I, very much by chance, I started my doctoral studies. This was when Marco surprised me one evening. We did a master class in England, and then he talked to the guy who invited us in secret. When I was just out of the room, when I came back, he said, well, you know, I'm doing my doctorate here with Bob, and I thought, if he does it, I want to do it too. So this was the day when I ventured into research. So I'm also used to giving really a talk at a conference and talk about very brain stuff. And I think the lecture performance is a combination of both. I will show you some art. I will explain some things about my way of thinking as a performer, and also my current research project, and in the end you will see the tiny performance. So, in the first part of this talk, I take you on a really brief journey through my development as a performing artist and artistic researcher over my career. And in the second part, I look deeper into my topic today, the body that performs, the body of an instrumentalist on stage that performance. So let's start at the beginnings of my professional life. Growing up as a classical instrumentalist, I don't know, are there any classical instrumental? I think you are. Who was that? There was somebody who said issues. Okay. Growing up as a classical player, I learned how to interpret scores of composers of the Western classical music. After almost 15 years in the professional music business with hundreds of concerts as a soloist or chamber musician across festivals in not only my own home country but across 4 continents, and also as director of my own musical group, I thought 15 years of always following the exact will of the composer, that could be enough, right? So I got interested in what is it that is actually the creative potential of a performer. What is the performer doing? How is a performer shaping a piece of music? What is our share in the moment, in the creation of music? Because I was convinced that it's not only the score, but it's also us. So I started with one simple question. I just asked, wherein lies the creativity of a performer? And I was particularly interested in the whole potential and the scale of the creative work among all the actors in the field. And the actors are the performers, it's the composers, and the music and the art promoters, and of course the audience. So I really wanted to know who is contributing what to what is happening on stage. And so I asked, what is a performer for? What are the core practices of a performer? What is our responsibility and what is our creative share? And what are the conditions, you could say, of our identity? And then when I started this dissertation, I went deeper and deeper and deeper into this topic. And my topic was the creative potential of performance practice in contemporary music. Then I discovered this research for myself, and I asked, what is artistic research for me, for us, what can that be for performers? And I realized that artistic research can be a tool that, where am I? Here. Can be a tool that leads to an artistic and personal empowerment of the instrumental, of the classical, certainly of the classical instrumental performer. And artistic research can also be a tool for knowledge gain. And I thought it's knowledge gain that starts with me, because a lot has been said about performers, but now I was in a position that I could research my own field, my own practice. And I also realized that artistic research can be a tool for the understanding of creative and perceptual phenomena. I would like to share with you a video of my work as a performer, which is called the Lexicon of Performership. Lexicon of Performership, because I was really going through the alphabet. I thought, okay, what is it in the performance practice? Like A for authority or C for creativity. And I tried, I made this video, which is 10 minutes long, by the way, so please go into cinema mode. And I really tried to capture, during COVID, for another presentation, what is a performer for. Let's have a look.
Hello everybody and welcome to the digital version of myself. My name is Lüneburg and I'm a classically trained violinist working as a soloist and chamber musician, mainly in the field of Western contemporary art music. I was particularly interested in the potential and the scale of our creative work among all the actors of our field, the performers, composers, music and art promoters, and the audience. So, for the first time, I ventured into the field of artistic research and wrote my dissertation based on my own and other performance practice. Its title is A Holistic View of the Creative Potential of Performance Practice in Contemporary Music. Herein I investigated creativity and collaboration, and what the relationship between performer and audience is built upon, charisma and consequence. I developed as an artist and as a researcher.
My music is devoted to worship my God. This religion came with us like this black people. What shows is the hunting god, and Eshu is the god of the path. And then he is like a child. I mean, he's the one that can close the path so nothing bad comes to you, and he can open so good things happen to you. First talking is for everyone. They were allowed to celebrate parties on the same day, in their own way, of course, that the Catholics celebrate their own party. US, the point of merger. The symbiosis between the Spanish and the African, and the bit of the Chinese culture.
In contemporary music, performers have augmented their creative space in many ways by collaborating with composers and music promoters, by improvising, by co-creating and devising, and by remixing or simply composing. Performers modify their instruments by altering its body or by technologically enhancing it through software or hardware. They develop their own extended playing techniques and personal musical language. They challenge composers to use their palette of personal expressions as the basis of new compositions. What do contemporary music performers have in common with classical players? For instance, they curate concert programs. They play the concert space and create concert aura. Especially important, performers embody the meaning of a work through their actual playing and through their body language, through stage presence. And they share knowledge and meaning with their audience through their performance. They interact with the audience on stage and beyond. In all these aspects lies the creative share of the performer. Additionally, performers have started to investigate their own doing from an inside perspective based on their own artistic practice and systematically research into different partial strands of their work. And here we venture into the fascinating field of artistic research. So, the questions I have are really simple and at the same time highly complex. They are: what is a performer for? What are the core practices of a performer? What is our responsibility? What is our creative share? And what are the conditions of our identity? And what can artistic research mean to me in my own performative practice? Artistic research can be a tool that leads to an artistic and personal empowerment of the classical instrumental performer. Artistic research can be a tool for knowledge gain. Artistic research can be a tool for understanding creative and perceptual phenomena. But most importantly for us active players and performers, artistic research can enrich my performance and make it even more profound. True to my motto, explore and share, I have started a new art and research project as of today, the Lexicon of Performership, of which you can see a first glimpse throughout this video.
Okay, now I would like to take you along in the present time and tell you what my current research is about. The project I'm introducing you to is a 3.5 research project, artistic research project funded by the Austrian Science Fund. It is called Embodying Expression, Gender, Charisma, Breaking Boundaries of Classical Instrumental Performance. In this project, my team and I explore how the performer's body is important for musical expression, for gender and charisma in Western classical instrumental concert practice. We would really like to understand how the body of a performer is an essential part of the artistic, of the social and of the aesthetic situation on stage. So what we said when we conceptualized this project is that the body is the medium through which instrumentalists realize the sound and their musical ideas, but also their emotions. And their body, in a way, simultaneously is really the emotion and the conveyor of sound and musical ideas. Performers use consciously or unconsciously gestures, facial expressions, as well as the staging of the body, how they are placed on stage, as a means of expression and of communication and interaction with the audience. And through their corporeality, through the way how they are on stage, they allow the audience insight into their individual personality, but also into their stage personality and into their culturally shaped personalities. And it's important to know that the audience perceives the performer's intentions and feelings in their posture, in their movements, in their facial expressions and gestures and actions, and reflect these in their own physical and emotional reactions. So there is a difference to listening to music from Spotify or going into a concert and experience this bodily situation. So what do I mean by this? Let's have a look at a remix I made of Maxim Vengrov, a fantastic classical violin player who plays the Sibelius violin concerto. Is really to understand how the body contributes to the expression and to the emotion. And if you're doing research, then you always have to ask yourself, how can I even investigate that? What kind of method? How can I do this systematically? So one of the things I did in this project is that I have developed a whole series of remixes of performances by violinists of different generations and different gender, to analyze their particular individual body language and show how it contributes to music. And what I do with these remixes is, here I use material of Vengrov playing Sibelius violin concerto. And I realized when I was looking at that, I thought, okay, maybe I just have to get rid of the music and I see the body, maybe that's already enough. But it's not in classical music, it's so entangled. And then I thought, what can I do? Because if a classical audience goes to a concert, and listens to that, it's so difficult to separate those from each other, the music which you hear and the body, and you are so used to the music that you are just perceiving the music, and it's sort of, you take this whole package and it's not possible to separate it anymore. So I thought somehow I have to make this separation, and I started with using the music and just taking fragments from that and putting them in a new form together, and I even pitched it down several, I don't know, quite a bit, so that it still sounds somehow like Sibelius, which people still recognize that, but it's not. So this is the first sort of fracture, friction which you get, and it's not so easy anymore just to see Sibelius concerto. And then I was really analyzing the movements of Engelhoff and said, okay, what is typical? What comes again and again and again and again in his face, in the way how he moves his body? And I just took excerpts from that, slowed them down, and put them on wrong places of the music. So it's never really quite where it would be in the original. And then I tried that the remix would enhance the expression of Wengerhoff, not Wengerhoff enhancing the expression of the music. So this way I really wanted to shift the focus on the body and still connect it to the classical music. I skipped this. Instead, I'm just telling, I just said, okay, what is the method in an artistic research project? A lot is... Sorry. That's okay. In an artistic research project, you want to use the art and art production as the basis of investigation. So one of the core methods which I'm using is that I reenact performances, the bodily performances of famous artists. Here you can see me trying to understand, trying to reenact Wengerhoff, which is a little bit difficult because I don't have his super expressive eyebrows, but I can really go into lean into his body language. And try to do it. I'm doing this by playing the same piece he's playing. And what happens is, he plays differently than I play. So what happens is I have to understand his body movements. I really have to go deep into that so that it makes sense to me. Because otherwise I'm feeling like a clown. I'm just copying it. And, it's not me. But if I try to understand why is he doing this, why is he leaning in, maybe he's listening to the music, maybe he's reading, I don't know, whatever he's doing, you know. And the moment I understand it, it makes sense to me. And then I can reenact it. But I also understand something about his music making. And one really interesting thing is I compared to or reenacted two different interpretations of a female performer, Hilary Hahn, and him, and they are really different in a way. And I always thought somehow he's always telling us a story with the way how his eyebrow goes up, or how his body moves, or whatever he's doing, you know. And then and she is spinning phrases. She's always very upright and hardly moves. And then there's a surprise move that she just takes one step forward, and you have the feeling of, she takes a breath or something like that, you know. And with him, I always thought he's telling me a story. And then at some point, I went to his website, and then he had a new blog, and then he was telling. So the most important thing is you always have to tell a story. And I thought, got it. And that was really, really nice, because you could also think, okay, now she's reenacting it. What kind of truth or knowledge or can there be, you know? But somehow it really helps to get deep into the emotion and deep into the intentions of the performer if I reenact it. Yeah. So, and from this reenactment method came my attention to my really analytic attention to all the players. So I'm showing you a different, she's a different performer, Maria Duenas. Maria Duenas, for example, she has a way of really picking music from somewhere, from heaven. I don't know, I can't even do, or I find it really difficult to do that. But I have the feeling that she gets inspiration from there, you know. And of course, I can't crawl into her head. I don't really know what she's doing, but she lives in Vienna. Maybe one day I'll meet her. And so, with this really analytical way of looking, I had this chance to develop the remixes. And let's have another look at a remix by Maria Duenas plays Paganini. selected 6 different soloists and made remixes of another 6 soloists. And I analyzed many more videos to understand the way how instrumentalists move on stage and use their body. What do you do with all the data and findings I gathered? So we're coming now to the last work which I would like to present you today, which is called Exploring Gestures for Air Violin and Soundtrack, composed by me. And this Exploring Gestures shows how I took models of embodiment, or you could say prototypes maybe of postures, that I had explored, and I take them out of the original classic context and display them in the contemporary context. And what really inspired me was air guitar performances in pop music. So I thought, let's see what I can do. So as I said before, the bodies of soloists on stage, like the music we hear from them, they tell us a story. And musicians not only musically but bodily act out facets of the music they tell. And in doing so, they embody not only the music but also different emotions and different personalities. So while I developed Exploring Gestures, I looked into the body language of Maxim Vengerov, Maria Duenas, Salvatore Accardo, Sergei Khachaturian and Janine Janssen. They are partly from different generations and worked out their typical gestures. I could tell you, for example, Maxim Vengerov, this is his main posture, you could say. Maria Duenas, Salvatore Accardo, who else do we have? Sergei Khachaturian, and Janine Janssen. So you can see there are different personalities, you know. And Now I will perform to you exploring gestures for air violin and soundtrack. This is a way which is also typical for artistic research, that we use our findings and our not only white papers, but articulate our findings and showcase the research findings throughout. Okay.
Bojim se svjetla. Nemojte mi zamjeriti ako će probati ponovno čvrsta svjetla. Ali ja ću pokušati, evo. Dok jako. Sorry, Barbara. Really situation.
I think this is fun. Thanks.
Afternoon that we discussed about artificial intelligence and humans. This was the best case to see how much humans are important. And that without them we cannot have it. So it was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,